Welcome to the Chasing Tomorrow podcast. Another great episode here today. I think you are going to just get so excited because I have this truly inspiring character with me. The journey that we've all been on, many of us start with the who knows kind of what's going to happen, and it turns into something really big. And Nicole Greco Peepas is one of these very inspiring people who have chosen to live life as we would like in the Chasing Tomorrow community by keeping ourselves accountable, taking on big challenges, helping other people. She's a perfect role model for us, and I welcome you, Nicole, to the podcast.
Joe, thanks so much for having me. This sounds awesome. I love that intro.
Yeah, well,
You've
we're
really,
going to dig in, because this is the fun part for me. We get to know you. The end of the story is probably always a little intimidating for people, all the great things you could do. But I think you're an East Coaster. Tell us a little bit about the early story.
so that's it. Early story of me. I was in the fashion industry forever. I graduated fashion school, loved it, loved everything about the fashion industry, loved dressing, loved going out, wearing pretty clothes, dressing other people. Everyone saying, "Where did you get that?" It was my life. Worked for Neiman Marcus, worked for Saks Fifth Avenue in the city, was a jeweler. That's why I kept my name, kept my maiden name as Greco, because I always thought I was going to go back in the jewelry business. And little to you know, I went on vacation to Greece and with my girlfriend and met my husband.
Oh,
So, oh yeah, yeah, it's a fun story. So I met him out in Greece. He was living there working as an expat for an American company, and we wind up staying with him. Listen, the Greek community is really as tight as the Italian community. They all know each other. So she knew
hmm.
that she had a free place to stay in Athens, and so she figured, let's stay with this guy, Nick. I met him. Little did you know, we just kind of hit it off. I came back to the States, wind up taking another vacation out to see him again. And a year later, we were engaged. And I moved
Wow.
to Greece for 3.5 years. So I left my job, left my family, left everybody. And I said, okay, I'm ready. I could do this. Little did I am such a people person and I love to be around. I was in retail. This was my life. It was
Yeah.
fantastic. And
Wow.
now I took it all away and I'm in a home in Greece, in a foreign country. I don't know the language. I don't have any friends. And you took this wild, fun, outgoing woman, and you put her in this
Mhm.
secluded. So I was like, wait, am I homesick? Must be. I didn't realize it. Make a long story short, there is my neighbor that I meet. She is a karate instructor. And I was like, I always wanted to do this. I could do this. So I just trained. You can't work because you don't have a visa. My husband
Right.
was working. We traveled when he had to travel. I traveled with him. I met some wonderful people through his company.
Yeah.
And I became, when I left Greece 3.5 years later, I left with a third degree brown belt. And I just got into karate. I was like, this is awesome. It's discipline. And that really took off my fitness career. So I
Mm.
came back home to the States. I am now looking for a dojo to continue. I want to get my black belt. Let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And I wind up doing that, getting my black belt, and then in the back of the dojo, they're boxing. And I'm like, wow, that looks really cool. Something new. I find out I'm pregnant. As I like to say, I want to keep the baby, but I don't want to keep the weight. I gained 60 pounds with him, my son. So yeah, it was a lot. So right after I had my son, I went back and I learned how to box. And that took off my fitness career. Then one thing led to another. This class, that class, TRX was started 2004 when TRX first came out. We didn't even have a rig that high. We put it on the tree outside and we started doing that outside. So I took every class. I took as many fitness classes. I did as many personal training courses that I could to just better myself. I mean, this is a whole new life for me. And at
Wow.
any age, you can do that.
What do you think was happening? Like, why was this becoming appealing to you in the beginning when you were doing these new activities that you hadn't done before? Were you feeling some kind of reward from it, feeling better about yourself? Because you had this pretty reasonably successful career, so that
Yeah,
was already making you feel good. What was it that was happening there?
it's the sense of feeling healthy and knowing that I feel really good from this. I'm
Yep.
sleeping great. I'm
Yeah.
releasing serotonin, like the whole package. It was
Yeah.
like, wow, I feel so good. I have to show it to others. I know that I could be motivating. Let me show what I learn now to
Yeah.
others. And that's it. I mean, every trainer usually says there's no trainer, I think, no personal trainer, group fitness instructor that doesn't really they're
Yep.
really not there for the money. I mean, it's not that lucrative in the beginning. It's about showing your gift to others. And
Mm.
that's what it was for me. I was like, I'm done styling these people. I have to show them
Yeah.
something else now.
Yeah, and so you're getting this reinforcement from your system and you're feeling better about that. So you're going deeper and harder. Were there role models that you were connecting with? Other people you thought, wow, they were doing cool stuff. I should do that too?
Yeah, Randy Hetrick's TRX, Christmas
Yep.
Abbott, who I'm very good friends with now from the CrossFit world. Yeah, I mean, so many. I have
Yeah.
a ton of, because that's when I
Yeah.
started getting into CrossFit. That was like the new thing. And I was like, wow, this is awesome. I love the high socks, the Converse. We wore all the gear, like everything. And that was a whole new life. But yeah, I mean, I still boxed on the side. I think that's what always kept me from kind of getting injured. I would lift heavy weights and do CrossFit, and then I would box. So I would
Mm.
like loosen everything up. So the counter active of both of those together were just great as I
Yeah.
was started my training and started people training.
This idea that you moved from fashion, which is about a look, right,
Yeah.
into fitness, which can be both about the athleticism and a look.
Mhm.
And so how were you making that transition? Were you thinking about more about the athleticism and being powerful or what this was doing to make you look better?
A little bit of both. Listen,
Yeah.
I got to look in the mirror every day, and now my clients have to look at me. I don't want to be an unhealthy trainer. Yes, I want to love my body. I don't
Yep.
need to be this size 2, and I'm
Yep.
surely not. But I feel confident in
Mhm.
myself. That's a huge thing, though. There, a lot of people don't have that. I
Yeah.
think I've always had that because I've been confident the way I looked or the way I dressed or the way I spoke or the way I conducted myself. So I do have some self confidence. And I
Yeah.
think that that's where you have to find yourself first. I mean, you got to find that first. You
Yeah.
have to build on that.
It's good though. I mean, like, I think the point that you're making is that looking good is nothing bad. Like, we shouldn't be
No.
embarrassed by that. You earned it, right? You put in
Yeah.
this effort. So we want to feel good about ourselves, both from committing to something and getting it done and seeing a result from that. And
Yeah.
I think it doesn't have to be the only focus. But I do think that that's a healthy balance to be able to do both.
You start seeing the aging process again, when I started, it was a baby weight.
Yeah.
I'm in my 30s. I have to lose this. What the body can do. That
Yeah.
was my whole aha moment is look at
Hmm.
what my body can do if I push. My mind's telling me you got to stop. You can't go anymore. You can't push anymore. It's not 5 more
Yeah.
minutes in this workout. My body's fine though.
Yeah.
My body's literally fine. It's all in the mind. It's all in the
Yeah.
mindset. And that's what I try to tell my clients now. Starting at any age, however you feel, you have to want this. If it's going for a walk outside, 30 minutes, starting there, get ahead, go do that.
Mm.
That's it. But start somewhere and you'll start to see some results.
Yeah, I think this start somewhere is probably the most consistent and best advice. And because sometimes it can be intimidating when we see someone pushing a lot of weight or running really
Oh,
fast
yeah,
or but we all started with one step and 1 pound and one push up, right?
that's right. On your knees. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And
And I say that to a
encouraging.
new person in the gym, and I say it to my veteran. It takes only one step, and now you can push yourself further. You have to feel better. You have to
I-
want to look
Yep.
better. And I think just after vid and this and how people felt, you got to take care of yourself. You do. You got to be supplements or eating well. You have to take care of yourself. This is, they always say your body's
And
your
then
temple. This is the most thing you have to take care of. And that's it.
I like that. I don't think if anyone on the podcast has ever
Well,
said
sure.
how
Yeah.
expensive our body is, but that's a
What's your
great
health worth to
perspective
you?
on it. And we can
If you want
actually
to put in the
ripple.
Wendy's, if you want to put
Yeah.
that in, then your health doesn't mean anything to you. Don't get me wrong. I love tequila, Joe. I love tequila.
Right.
I'm Italian descent. I love my red wine, but it's once in a while. You have to be motivated
Yeah.
to not do it all the time. You don't have to go out and socialize and have a drink. You don't need it. You can socialize and you can be at all
Mm.
these holiday parties now and not have anything and not drink. Yeah.
And community is another part of what I'm sure you've found as well as you go through this. Put yourself in the
Hmm.
right community, get that support. You do it the other way. You give people a lot of support, but the more that we put ourselves out there, right? I mean, the better that this becomes,
Oh
because
yeah.
then it is reinforcing on multiple levels. So when we were talking, I was before the podcast, always have these really interesting parts of the conversation. But one of the things that I'm curious about, so you start on this path, you start to
Yep.
see success measured by a brown belt, then a black belt, then lifting weights and going to CrossFit, and you're seeing this result. Along the way, did you ever start to think about how you were going to use this beyond for just yourself? Like, did that just one day hit you? Like, wow, this is
No.
actually even more impactful. I could become an instructor. I can become inspiring. I can become a role model
It all starts
myself.
with programming.
Like, how did that
It
happen?
starts with the knowledge that I've had from
Mm,
personal training and from group and from CrossFit level 1 and and starting how to program. Wow, I
yep.
understand this now. And that's what I think keeps coming back. Anybody can go
Hmm.
say, "Okay, here you go do 100 squats. Okay, you did great today. Let feel the burn. Oh, you're sore. That's not a good workout. We know that's not a good workout. So I think what kept me is the
Yep.
programming and knowing that I can always program later on in life when I might not want to
Yeah.
do as many group fitness class or I have a app or a platform that I can just
Hmm.
show my talent through. But it all comes down to the programming of it. That's what definitely makes a good trainer.
Yeah. And so you go along, we all know this, right? And people listening, we're in our 30s, 20s, we're indestructible, 30s, we're reconciling some of that. 40s, we get a bit inspired
Mhm.
again because we're like, oh, I think I'm still somewhat athletic. And you start to get older, and then it starts to like, well, maybe I don't need to do it, or I don't feel as strong as I used to. But I think many of us, when you start to
Oh
hit that
yeah.
50-year-old, you realize that you still have a lot in you. How are you thinking about that? Each of these decades and how to think about going into them yourself and with the
Age
community of people you're part
has
of.
no number. It really, I don't feel that. It's kind of weird now because I'm there. I'm there. The coach that said this to
Yeah,
me
right.
a decade ago, I'm there now. And I was like, wait, I don't feel old. I really don't. I'm moving well. I'm staying active. I eat well.
Yeah.
So again, to me, it's just a number. But again, does 20-year-olds want to train with me? They might. I have a couple. My friends' daughters that you can learn a lot from. Nicole, try it. But I just I want to be that person that any age can look up to and see as a role model. But
Mm.
basically, I have the older mother. She might have been lost. COVID, you either went down or you went up. Either you did absolutely nothing or you went so hard and you changed your body. I have that extreme. I have nothing in the middle. There's nobody in
Yeah.
the middle. There's just that
Yep.
extreme. So I deal with those women. And a lot of them have been back. They're back at the gym now. They're seeing results, which is great. It's great. As soon as that one client
Mm.
sees results, the hard work that they're putting in, again, it's not just exercise. This 70-30, we talk about it all the time. It's what you put in.
Right.
If you're going to go home and eat a
Mhm.
bagel after your workout
Yep.
and put no sense of protein in, then you're not going to feel the same results or you're not going to see the same results that your workout is putting in. Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Compromising
absolutely.
on that. Yeah, it's the
Mm.
four elements, right? So it's the exercise, the nutrition, the mindset, and those four, which we all have control over in total, right? Like those are
Hmm.
totally up to us to decide. We can't be a victim unless we allow that. And I think we both know this, like that. It's not any of us are striving for what some might call perfection. Like it's not every is perfect. It's actually each of them. Like
Hmm.
imagine if you had a score of
It's pretty
0 to
good.
10. If every one
I'll
of them
take
are an
those
8, that's
odds.
pretty good.
Yeah.
If you no one's a 10 in everything. And we can give ourselves some grace as long as for the most part
Hmm.
we're hitting it, right? And getting better at that discipline. as we learn it along the way, because it does, each of those
Yep,
reinforce each other, right? And if I eat better, sleep better. If I sleep better, I'm better
that's
in the
right.
gym. If I have a better
That's right.
mindset, they all are
I think
better.
it's about tackling all of them at the same time, a little bit. As soon as somebody goes
Yep.
hard out of the gate, they're working out 5 days a week, and they just started back at the gym, they're gonna see that they can't keep up with it. You have to start slow and pick apart what you need.
Right.
Let's just take
Yeah.
Diet Coke out of the equation. Forget about the coffee right now. I'll say, let's just try to take the Diet Coke out. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Let's just tackle one thing.
Yep.
Let's try to get a little
Yeah.
extra sleep. Go to bed a little earlier. Have a ritual, a bath, a sleepy time tea. I'm a big fan. Maybe some ashwagandha, something natural that you can take at night. But listen, I go to bed
Mm-hmm.
early. I get up early.
Yep.
So that's my whole thing. I don't know about going to bed late because I really go to bed early, but that's my time in the morning. But as soon as
Mm.
everyone starts to tackle
Yep.
all of those, again, like you said, the mindset just goes in. But you're talking about your water intake, your sleep, your nutrition that goes with the water, and your fitness. You try to do too hard, too fast out of the gate. There's nothing that's going to happen but failure. There really, you have to just start little by little.
Yeah. No, I think that these, right, Nicole, for many years as you've done
Okay.
this, I would just make a guess and tell me if I'm wrong. Not a single thing that you've learned is
Yeah.
some insight that you could
Yeah.
never have gotten to. They're all pretty obvious, right? It
Yeah.
isn't like, oh wow, that's such a big idea. It's about building the habits, the follow through, the motivation, that
Hmm.
every bit of accountability to ourselves. I think that maybe is the big aha, which also isn't that hard to understand. As you're talking to people who are on this journey and you're trying to get them to understand that, like,
Yeah.
none of us are that privileged. We just decided
I
something.
just
How do you
think
help
having them
them
stay
with that?
accountable, showing if you do this for 1 year, because that's really what it does to transform. If you do
Right.
this for 1 year and you give yourself
Yep.
this for 1 year, I promise you will see results. So as soon as they see a little something,
Mm.
a little change,
Yeah.
bang, you got them. They're hooked.
Hmm.
Wow, I feel so good
Yeah.
now. I meal prepped
Yeah.
on Sunday and I made all these meals for myself and I ate them during lunch before I picked up my kids from school. I mean, it takes a lot. It's not easy, but I do see that
Yeah.
they'll feel some reward as soon as they see that light switch go off in their own head. They have to see it in their own head. They have to.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. And I think in that it's some tools that we can all have.
Really.
Mine was a spreadsheet. I mean, I started just using a spreadsheet on my computer, 2000, literally the year 2000. So I'm going to write down what I do each day. And now for the past 20, almost 23 years, I've written down what I've done every
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
And how long does it take? 20 seconds, a minute? I mean, but it became my accountability partner. For a long time, I never even told
Yeah.
anyone I did it because the point wasn't for anyone else, it was for me. And so there are these techniques that we can use. I mean, there's apps, but you can make it as simple as a notebook and a pencil. Like, just, and if you go through these are the techniques that start us. Like, the night of
You were going to
your
say, yeah,
exercise
you're
class,
right.
put out all your stuff, right? But these tricks that we have created for ourselves for whatever the reason. Look, our system might fight some of this, but it isn't anything
Mhm.
like intellectually challenging. It's this system. So, do you have any other techniques either you've used or some of the
I
people in your
think, like you were
classes have
saying,
used
it's
to help keep themselves
journaling,
on track?
reading more the mental health,
Yeah.
taking some time away
Mm.
from social media.
Hmm.
I see that more and more now, putting that down, giving this your time, living through example, because all my friends, all these women have kids. So they want to show their children
Yeah.
what they can do. And there's the next generation right there to show the next generation
Right.
that
Yeah.
if you do this, you'll feel this good.
What I found, which was, I guess, also
Mhm.
unintended, but so I have two daughters who are now adults, and early on, I taught them how to do stuff outside, and then I stayed fit enough so that when they
Sure.
started doing fitness activities, I could be included. And so if I wanted to spend time with
Mhm.
them in the climbing gym or on the trail running or doing an adventure race, you'd have to be fit enough because otherwise, a 20 or 30 something is not going to include you if you can't hold your end of the bargain.
Oh, that's
And then
awesome.
they became a crew for me in racing. And so we created this world where we can be codependent. And I mean, and hopefully anyone listening will just understand this. If I do any of
Yeah,
this, I have no interest in their personal
yeah,
stuff. Like I just after the event go do their thing. But you get this special
that's right.
time that you wouldn't get otherwise. So yeah, we could sit and have dinner together, and that's nice. But I get one more benefit with my kids that I wouldn't have had was it not for my dedication to fitness and athleticism and mindset. So if those special
That's right.
people really matter,
And a
like you
girl,
have two
yeah. Hmm.
boys, you can keep up with oh, a boy and a girl,
Yeah.
sorry, and you can keep up with them
Oh,
though
yeah.
because
There's a
you're
lot of
able
this
to
that
do
happen
so.
in this house. No,
I like it. I
I
have
would no, that's so wrong. Listen, my son is 18. He's very much into fitness
that's
now.
great.
He's at the gym.
Yep.
Listen, he'll bench press all day long. I'm trying to tell him you have to do other things, but it's going to come with time. My daughter works with a trainer because she
Yeah,
doesn't want to work with mommy. That's fine. It's
of
fine. So
course.
you find something.
Hmm.
But she likes to take walks. Again, these kids have to find
Yeah.
something that they do. A lot of them play sports when they're in the sports, and that's great as well. But
Hmm.
usually the kids that are playing sports, sometimes the parents are not as active. You want the whole family to be active, do
Right.
things together. Yeah, all of that, all the above. So I'm glad that you were outside spending time with your daughters. And
Yeah, it's been
that's
great. We
awesome.
have a
That's
ice
really
climbing
awesome.
trip planned for January. We have a couple of races on the calendar for 2024. So let's talk a
Mhm.
little bit about this purpose idea that you're working on and your inspiration around making a healthier community and how you're putting yourself into
You
that.
mean my brand?
Yeah, well, yeah, your brand,
Yeah,
your
it's a lot
products, your
happening.
so about
A
some
lot
apps, a
happening
lot
right
of
now.
stuff that you have.
What's
Don't have just
happened
one thing
is
happening.
I live in North New Jersey, and we always talk about it's kind of slang that we say bro. We say bro. We call everybody bro all the time. It's like a brother. It's everywhere. It doesn't have to be New Jersey, but it seems to be around this area a lot. So I've
Yep.
always used it. I've been calling people bro forever. A friend of mine said, let's market it. Let's put it on a shirt. Let's see. I go into the gym with it. Everybody wants one. And so it just became merchandise right now. We got a great
Yep.
mission statement. We have a great acronym. It's about
Mhm.
optimism and keeping accountability for well, oh my God, I'm drawing a blank all of a sudden right now. We talk about family. We talk about self improvement with bro. So we all have the
Mhm.
same mindset. Whoever could
Nice.
be a bro, it could be anybody. You have the same type of mindset. It's
Hmm.
about a family. It's about accountability.
Yep.
It's about freedom. It's about having those standards for health and wellness.
Yeah.
That's what we want to get out of it. So we are looking at the best version of
I
ourselves.
like that.
It's a
So the
bro
version of
lifestyle. That's what
ourselves,
we're
right?
looking at, the lifestyle of
Yeah,
being
I
a
like
bro.
that. Yeah,
We are talking
nice.
about a recovery drink. A lot of the recovery drinks that are out there right now are
Okay.
not ready made. So we're looking to a ready made, your BCAAs, your ECAAs, your magnesium in it, things to help you recover as a collegiate athlete, as a youth athlete, quick
Mm,
without putting it and making it shake wise. Looking into a protein bar. But again, it's
mhm.
endless. It could be endless. But again, it's health and wellness. And we're not reinventing the wheel. We just have a really
Yeah.
cool name behind it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it has that feeling
Yeah.
like I am part of something. It can be endearing and almost like a compliment. And it's this whole idea, and of course you live this, right? Is the gyms
Yeah.
for a long time were not
Oh yeah.
female friendly. It's changed a lot in the
Hmm.
years since the Arnold Schwarzenegger days of pumping iron. And so it's really intriguing to me that something
Yeah.
that could be very male dominated, like this bro word, is being pushed by this powerful
Yeah.
female who's equally capable as anyone in the
Yeah.
gym, by the way. Like, it's a ridiculous way that the world was, but be that as it may. So I like that. And I bet you that coming from you, it
Hmm.
actually has that more acceptable feeling to it, because you're saying like, hey,
each other.
this is all
Exactly.
about,
And keeping
us
it a
feeling
sense
good
of
about each
community.
other.
But I like that. I like what you said about
Yeah.
the women back in the gym because I am not trying to be my male partner there. You know what I'm saying? I'm a female and I am strong and we go through ups and downs as well hormonally that we're not feeling it that day. And but
Yeah.
yeah, there's a ton of strong women out there now. And
I think that if we can, the other part though, which you're doing, and like I know we probably both have this strong feeling about that the
yeah,
number of our age from historical perspectives, with 40 was old and 50 was
ground. Yeah,
ancient
yeah.
and 60 you might as well be in the ground. The world's different than that now. You can live pretty powerfully into your 70s. Like there's a guy who just broke 3 hours in
Wow.
the marathon and he was 75 years old. I mean, there are people who, if you took a picture, you'd say like, wow, there's no way
Yeah.
that they're over 40 and they're 65. And so I think we're showing that. And so what I think is also important, what you're doing is role modeling that, hey, I'm going to turn 50 years
Mhm.
old and I'm a powerful person. And so in some
Yeah.
way, I almost have to talk about the age just to prove that these preconceptions are
Yeah.
just a bunch of baloney. And who knows where this ends? If you keep it going well, this could go for real.
Mhm.
Lifespan changes, the longevity mindset around health and wellness. And I have this, it's not really a project yet, but I keep talking about this 20-year project, which is over the next 20 years, I would not consume any exogenous healthcare, meaning that I didn't create the need by my lifestyle for $50,000 hospital visit because I
Mhm.
was smoking or drinking too much or whatever it might have been. That the lifestyle choices we make and the way our biology works as we age can actually balance out. When
Exactly.
you're 20, your lifestyle choices almost don't
Yeah.
matter. But once you start hitting 50, they matter more. And if you want to live that life, then the choices matter. And I think the more we can role
Yeah.
model that, not because it's righteous, it's actually just right. The other thing, Nicole, I was thinking about is we almost owe it to our community
That's right.
not to live in a bad way, because then we're consuming a lot of
Yeah.
resources that we shouldn't someone else pay for. And so this matters to society. I did this silly calculation, but if all, I mean, half the American population soon will be over 50. And if we only had 10 million of them make better lifestyle
Yeah.
choices, we could save $500 billion a year. And that's what is
But what
really
we
big
talk
impact,
about,
because we could use
we
that in
talk
so
about
many
it, we
ways.
know it, we're trying to get it out there. But other people around are not. They're living a very
Yep.
unhealthy lifestyle. They're not eating the most nutritious food. Look at what just happened there was a huge story on Netflix called The Blue Zones, and I'm sure you watched it. Look at what they had in common.
Yeah.
They
Yep.
walked,
Mm.
they had sense of family and community,
Yep.
bro. Sorry, bro. They had the sense
Yep.
of community
Yep.
around them that they never stopped meeting and sitting and chatting and talking, and they never stopped moving. They just never stopped
Yep.
moving. This whole sedentary lifestyle
Right.
that we live over here, that's what we want to change. We're trying
Oof.
to change one step at a time. I mean, even
Yeah.
from the water that we drink, drinking more water. The tap water is, look at the pollution in some of the tap water. So
I
it's
know.
hard for some people to make some of these choices. I understand it is. It comes from the environment. All right, the environment that they are. But I think that if we keep
Yeah.
keeping the conversation open, keeping the dialogue open to talk about, okay, I know it's hard. You might not have the money or the means to eat organically, but what other choices can you start making that might be better? Again, you see how it goes back to food. It goes back to
Yeah.
what we're putting in our body.
Yeah, I think that's one
Yeah,
big part of the foundation. I mean, it is a very big part. I know that we have things
that's right.
against us. The industrial food complex makes highly processed foods that are easy.
Hmm.
It might take a little more effort, but actually, when you start putting in that effort, you get a better return. And but I think you said this right in the front part of this, which is if you want to live a longer, healthier, happier life, and you have to make
Yeah,
choices. It doesn't happen any other way. But it isn't the lottery ticket. I love saying to everyone, I got my lottery
I love
ticket when
that.
I was born. It's just whether or not I'm going to cash it or
Yeah.
not. And cashing it means making decisions around mindset. The other thing that I play around with a lot is in the dictionary of the
Hmm.
secrets to success, like passion and optimism, grit and
Yeah.
determination, patience and endurance. All these words mean so much. Like if you take them and make them
That's it.
literal in your
That's right.
life, then things change. And I think the other thing that maybe you could comment a little bit on this, which is I often get asked this
Mm.
question, which is like, when are you going to stop? Like, is that just like, are you done this year? Did this 100,000
Yeah.
push-ups this year? And they're like, oh, okay, so you're done, right? Everyone wants to, like, how do you think about that? And how do you respond to this? Like,
It's
people
forever. It
can't
is.
understand that
This is
this
my
is
forever.
forever.
Like I said earlier, there's a difference between motivation and
Yeah.
discipline. You have to have the discipline. So the discipline to
Yes.
keep going. And I keep going. I'm halfway to
Mm.
100. On Wednesday, I'm
Yeah.
halfway to 100. And it's weird. And it sounds, I can't believe that I'm actually there. I mean, I was just dating my husband and traveling all of
Mm.
Europe at 30 years old with like a little bikini on. But now I'm not. But I feel good. I look good. So that is
Mm.
that's what keeps you going. It definitely does. It definitely keeps you going, and it gets you up for another day of how can I make better choices in my life? How can I show my clients better choices in their life? But I
Mm.
just think it's definitely discipline. You have to want it. We said it from the beginning.
Yeah.
Again,
I'm going to try something out on you. I believe so. Everyone would say that there's a Taylor Swift brand, right? A brand. There's a Kim Kardashian brand. We can go through this list and come up with a lot of people who you would associate
mm,
with a set of attributes that they've created. But as what we would call us regular
yeah,
people, we never think about our brand explicitly. I do all the time. Like, I think this is about the consistency, it's the discipline. It's when people who saw me 20 years
wow,
ago and see me now, they're like, oh, you're the same. Like, it's staying true to that so that everyone knows what you are, what they can count on, and what they're going to get. And so, as we think about these choices,
mm,
I think you actually are building your brand. Who is Nicole? If I went and talked to 5 people who knew you a little bit
Jackson.
and a
Yep,
lot, I bet you they'd all describe you the same way. So I think that we all have the opportunity to build our brand, the
yeah,
Joe brand, the Nicole brand, the Billy brand, the
I
Mary
love
brand.
that.
Let's go do that and make it us.
How do I think
Like,
about that?
how do you think about
Oh,
that?
absolutely. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, yeah. Who would
Again,
you?
I'm
Yeah.
building it right now for myself, but I think that's one of the points I'm definitely taking away
Yep.
today and say to my clients, you have to think about yourself as a brand within your work, whatever. Are you going to
Mm.
work for that 9 to 5, for that paycheck,
Yep.
or are you actually building your brand? Or are you actually striving for something else?
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be in your work life, your personal life, everything.
And I
Yeah,
think
I love that.
right. Yeah. Because look, that's what we want. Like, I don't know, we I want to go into a McDonald's or have a Coca Cola, but you know what they are and they
Hmm.
are consistent and they will be the same every time. And you count on that. If you opened a Coke and it didn't have
Exactly. Syrup.
carbonation, you'd be like, what is this thing? And it's the same thing if I said, hey, Nicole,
Hmm.
let's go to the gym tomorrow. I'll meet you there at 5. And
Yeah.
you don't show up. I'd be like, what's that? It's the same. We just have to think about this is
Mhm.
back to this what power we have. It doesn't need to be in a bank account. It just needs to be in our heart. And we bring that out. And
And I
you're
appreciate it.
doing a
But
great
yeah,
job of
people
that.
have to
I
listen.
enjoy that.
People have to listen to themselves. They have to listen to themselves. They're listening to too many other
Yeah.
people around and they're getting this from the
Oh yeah.
news, from the media, from here, from there. They're just taking this all. You have to listen to yourself and make your own decisions. When I have women that don't come
That's right.
or show
I
up,
like
like you're
that.
saying
So
at the
yeah,
gym,
go on.
accountability.
Mm.
Again, it's so I'm so sorry, Nicole. It's really not mine. It's your time. You're wasting your own time. It's not mine. You're wasting your own.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Yeah. They don't need to be sorry to
that's
you.
right. Yeah.
They should say sorry to themselves. Right? I think that that's the piece that we all just see need more focus on here, which is, and back to, I bet you anything, there are people who tell you not
Do
to
I
be the
get
way you
that?
are.
Don't be. They all know me. They know me for who I am.
There are
Oh
some who
yes,
would say, oh, you
definitely,
exercise too
definitely. You
much,
too
you do
much.
too much, right? And
Yeah.
so, but that's not theirs to
Hmm.
decide, right? That's up to you. And I
Yeah.
think that's what we want to reinforce in everyone. If you
That's
make
it.
good
I know.
choices, you don't have to
It's
defend
funny
those
you
to
said
anyone.
because my girlfriends look
No.
at every single thing that I eat all the time. And can you imagine we're at a birthday party and they're seeing what I'm eating and they don't want to eat around me. They don't want to, oh, Nicole, don't look at what I'm eating. I don't really care. You're accountable for you. And
Mm,
if I'm going to have this today, if I'm going to have some
yeah.
ice cream or something sweet, that's for me. But again, we're worried about too many other people around us. We're worried about what other people think, what they think about us, how they perceive us. You have to be accountable for you. And that's where the confidence level comes in.
Right. Yeah.
That's
And
right.
if we need help, we can ask each other, right? That's easy. I can say, hey, Nicole, got any
Oh, yeah.
ideas on how I can increase my protein intake?
That's right.
Right? Rather than saying, don't watch what I'm eating. If you want
Hmm.
something different, then
Yeah.
reach out to great resources that are around you. Do you think this focus on protein is a little exaggerated
I
or
was
we're
just in
all under protein? How do you
two
feel
weeks
about
ago
it?
and I did not have a lot of protein and I felt fine. I felt good,
Yeah.
really good.
Mm-hmm.
I am a big
Okay.
believer in your macros, in your protein, your carb, and your fat in each meal. I live by
Yep.
that. I love it. I was in Paris and I'm like, oh my God, where's my protein? What am I gonna have? Oh, here's smoked salmon. But again, it was so good. The beef protein I didn't have, the animal protein I should say, while I was there. That felt so I
Mm.
definitely lost some weight without losing muscle.
Yep.
I definitely lost a little weight, but I didn't lose any
Mm.
muscle from being over there. But is it exaggerated? I think people eat too much protein without the others, without complementing it. Carbs are
Yeah.
not bad.
Mm.
They're not bad
Mm-hmm.
for you. They're not the enemy.
Right.
You have to just know when to have them and how much to have and the good carbs, except for the processed
Yep.
carbohydrates. So again, it goes back to how people don't
Right.
understand how to eat and how to fuel their own body. So no, I don't think protein
Mm.
is exaggerated. It could be
You're
over
still learning, huh?
exaggerated because they're having too much of it without the balance of fat and carbohydrates. So yes,
I think ultra runner, it ends on the activity as well. When you're out doing 100-mile race, the
yeah,
rule is
I've
just
seen that.
eat anything you can stomach. Like there isn't, that's not the day that I care about anything other than eating. Like if I had to eat, one of mine ate 16 bags of Doritos to get to the end of a 100-mile
Yeah,
race, had never
yeah,
eaten them before, never ate
yeah,
them again. That was survival. That's what that was. And so the context matters. If I'm just sitting at my desk all day long, that matters. So it has to be the
absolutely.
integration of the
Yeah.
activity and the nutrition. Yeah. So as you think about this, like next 5 to 10 years, and of course,
Mm.
name this podcast Chasing Tomorrow, because that's always how I feel. I'm always leaning forward, thinking about what's next. Do you try to do annual planning? Do you then set like really where I
Yeah,
want to
I made
be
a
in five
vision
years from now?
board.
What's your
I
mindset on sort of
manifested
this?
of where I think
Yep.
I'm going to be. Again,
Mm,
all this came out in the past year for me, so
yep.
everything's been pretty fast, hitting me pretty hard, but I manifested it. I knew
Yeah.
that I'm going to be able to handle this. I can be this mastermind behind the brand. I can do it. I can start an app. I have the power, I have the knowledge in my head, the programming behind it, so I can do that. But yeah, my chasing tomorrow is doing that. Write it down. Write your year goal. Look back at it. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be formal. It doesn't have to be a poster board, a vision board. You can just paste things or just write in your notes in your phone. But no,
Yep.
that's real important. I definitely believe in that. I think all visionaries really they do that. They think about it, they write it down, and they definitely manifest it out. And it's happening. It's working right now for me. And I was very content in my gym in the
Right.
garage, in the gym at Equinox. I trained for Equinox as well as a local gym here in Caldwell, and I was happy. I was happy taking care of my clients, doing my classes, coming home, doing homework with the kids. And then I was like, no, I need a little right
Mm.
now. Something else has to happen. And I just wrote it down and it just started to come. Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? I love that. The power that you have inside you that's untapped still. Like you tapped into one of these
Hope
veins
so.
of power. I bet you there's another 10 that you can't get to till you work through this one. Oh, yeah, they're there. I haven't found anything that would approximate the limit of human potential other
Bravo.
than in our head and our inability to believe in ourselves. And that's only self-limiting. That's not the system that's limited. I think, Nicole, we're all blessed to have more people like you and you specifically out there showing what's possible, getting on a path first for
Mhm.
ourselves and then for others, giving back and being part of this inspired community. And
Absolutely, Joe.
we're going to stay in touch and watch each other and try
Love
to
it.
keep this movement alive.
Thank you.
And thanks for what
And
you
to
do.
you. Thanks,
And
Joe.
well, happy holiday, and we'll talk soon. Thanks.